The Underdark is a living labyrinth, endless, unknowable, and alive with things that were never meant to see the light. It's not simply a place beneath the surface, it's an ecosystem of violence, an ancient battleground where survival favors the cunning, the patient, and the monstrous. Within these winding tunnels and collapsed civilizations dwell some of the most dangerous creatures in all of Faerûn, entities shaped by time, darkness, and madness. From mind flayers and beholders to cursed driders and lurking ropers, these monsters are not just threats, they are institutions of the deep. In this video, we explore a host of iconic and fearsome denizens of the Underdark. Each one has earned its place in the darkness, whether through terror, cunning, or sheer destructive power. Few creatures are as feared in the Underdark as the Illithid. Known as mind flayers, they are psionic parasites, creatures who consume intelligence, not just flesh. Tall and gaunt with rubbery mauve skin and a mass of writhing facial tentacles, an Illithid can kill with a touch, paralyze with a thought, or enslave with a glance. They dwell in shadowed cities carved into stone, hidden enclaves powered by elder brains, massive organic intellects that guide their hives through collective telepathy. Every mind flayer is born of ceremorphosis, a grotesque process that transforms other humanoids, usually humans or elves, into Illithids. It is not birth, it is conquest, and it begins with a tadpole burrowing into a living skull. Mind flayers view other creatures as tools or livestock. Their ambitions are cold and alien but organized. Some colonies rise like empires, conducting raids on surface towns. Others operate in secret, manipulating local power structures from below. In the lore of Faerûn, mind flayers are believed to hail from a distant future, one in which they ruled an interplanar empire before being cast back in time. Whether myth or prophecy, the fear remains. The Illithids are not just ancient, they are patient. From the ruins of Orndal to the edges of Menzoberranzan, their presence is always a warning. If you hear the whispers in your dreams, it may already be too late. Before the gods, there were aboliths, or so they claim. These vast mucus-slick leviathans lurk in the darkest aquifers of the Underdark, coiled in still water and watching the ages turn. With triple-ringed eyes and lamprey maws, they are not only alien in form, they are alien in thought. Aboliths remember everything, perfectly, every experience, every slight, every defeat, passed from generation to generation without flaw. They do not dream, they recall, and they do not forgive. Their minds stretch beyond the boundaries of flesh. An aboleth can dominate the will of a creature miles away, burrow into memories, rewrite identity. Slaves made by aboliths don't even know they've been enslaved. Some believe themselves free until the master awakens a hidden command. Physically, they are massive, 40 feet or longer, and exude a foul slime that mutates those it touches. Those who drown in their lairs do not die, they change. They breathe water, their skin becomes translucent, they return as thralls forever bound. Though aboliths rarely leave their sunken lairs, their influence spreads like mold in a forgotten tomb. Through cults, dreams, and drowned minds, they press against the waking world. And in the ruins of cities swallowed by time, you'll often find evidence of one thing: they were here first. Some say the gods created the worlds. Aboliths say the gods were their mistake. To call a beholder mad is to miss the point. Madness implies disarray. Beholders are precise, obsessive, uncompromising. Each one is a floating sphere of hatred, crowned with 10 eye stalks and a single central eye that emits an anti-magic cone, snuffing out spells and unraveling enchantments with a gaze. But no two beholders are the same. Each one dreams itself into form, paranoid, self-worshipping, and convinced of its own perfection. These dreams are not idle. Beholders who dream of rivals can spawn them, waking to find a near-identical version of themselves in the lair, an enemy born from their subconscious that must be destroyed. They do not build societies, they build fortresses, layers carved with gravity-defying angles, floating chambers and deadly traps only a beholder could navigate. Their eye stalks each fire a different ray: disintegration, petrification, fear, sleep, telekinesis. One glance can ruin a party, two can end one. Despite their chaotic nature, beholders are strategists. They watch, plan, and remember. A beholder with a grudge will not stop at revenge. It will rewire its entire lair, enslave new minions, and reshape its tactics for a single intruder who escaped alive. Though rare in the Underdark, those that do settle there become gods to the desperate. Whole caverns fall under their rule, their paranoia spreading like radiation. In the dark, they see everything, and they trust no one, not even themselves. An Illithid seeks perfection through unity with the Elder Brain. An Alhun seeks power alone. These are mind flayers who have defied the collective, pursuing arcane magic, lichdom, and personal immortality. Among Illithids, this is heresy of the highest order. The Elder Brain exiles or destroys them, severing their psychic link and casting them out. But Alhuns do not die, they transcend. No longer part of the hive mind, an Alhun fuses psionics with wizardry. Their bodies wither into a corpse-like state, more bone than flesh, eyes sunken and mind blazing. They retain the Illithid's gifts: mind blast, domination, telepathy, but they gain the spellbooks of the dead: fireball, finger of death, plane shift. Alhuns are rare, and their ambitions are slow burning. They hide in forgotten places, abandoned cities, ruins buried beneath the Underdark, or ancient towers lost to time. Many bind themselves to phylacteries like liches, anchoring their souls to an object. Some even gather with other rogue mind flayers, forming small enclaves called Cabal Covens. To face an Alhun is to face centuries of stolen knowledge. A mind flayer is terrifying. An undead mind flayer who's had the time to study is worse. And if one is seen near the surface, it's never alone. It's preparing, planning, waiting for the right moment to be remembered. To become a Drider is not an honor. It is a punishment, a mark of failure in the eyes of Loth, the Spider Queen. Driders are drow, transformed through a ritual known as the Test of Loth. Those who displease her through weakness, doubt, or defiance are warped into monstrous hybrids, the upper body of a drow fused grotesquely to the lower half of a giant spider. They are reviled in drow society, cast out, feared, hated, but never pitied. Despite their exile, Driders remain deadly. They retain their intelligence, magic, and combat skill, and their spider half grants unnatural strength, venom, and the ability to climb walls and ceilings as easily as walking. Some nest alone in forgotten tunnels, others gather in broods seeking vengeance on the society that condemned them, and some, twisted by bitterness and isolation, become something worse, fanatics who believe Loth's curse was a blessing. These Driders spread their gospel through blood and fear, dragging victims into web-choked pits where the Spider Queen's judgment is never far behind. To the drow, Driders are reminders, warnings, proof that Loth's gaze is always watching and her wrath is never merciful. In the deep tunnels of the Underdark, when you find the first thread of a web, ask yourself what kind of spider spun it. Then ask how long you think you've been watched. Duergar are what happens when pride is broken and never rebuilt. Long ago, they were dwarves, stoic, stubborn, and shaped by stone. But in the age of enslavement, they were taken by mind flayers, twisted, hollowed, reforged in pain and silence. Now they are the gray dwarves of the Underdark. Skin like ash, eyes pale and lifeless, hair bleached to white or gone entirely. Where dwarves pray to Moradin and hold to kinship, Duergar serve no god but toil. They do not sing, they do not celebrate, they endure. Their cities are bleak and ordered, massive foundries, black stone towers, and endless ranks of chained laborers. Rulership comes through domination, often led by priest-kings or warlocks who revere Laudagware, their bitter and exiled deity. Discipline is absolute, mercy is treason. In combat, Duergar possess psionic gifts, remnants of their illithid torment. They can enlarge their bodies to monstrous size or vanish from sight with a thought. In battle they move with clockwork precision, no shouts, no fear, just steel and obedience. They hate the surface, they hate the light, and they especially hate their former kin, seeing mountain dwarves as soft, wasteful, and blind to what the world truly is. In the Underdark, you don't hear the Duergar coming, you hear the sound of iron on stone, and then nothing. If the Duergar are the embittered remains of dwarven pride, the Darrow are what's left when the last thread of sanity burns away. Small, pale-skinned, and wide-eyed, these twisted dwarfkin live in sprawling anarchic warrens deep within the Underdark. Their voices are shrill, their laughter is wrong, and their minds, if they can be called that, do not follow the patterns of reason. No one is quite sure where the Darrow came from. Some say they are the result of illithid experiments gone too far. Others claim they were once dwarves broken not by pain but by whispers from the far realm. What is known is this: they are brilliant, they are dangerous, and they are completely insane. Darrow society has no structure, only cults and warbands. Their leaders are often savants, sorcerer-scientists who blend arcane knowledge with blood-soaked rituals. They wield strange technologies, alchemical horrors, and magic that even drow hesitate to replicate. One Darrow alone is unstable, a dozen is a disaster, a city is a wound in the world. They kidnap surface dwellers for experiments, believing the world above to be a lie. They hear voices no one else hears. They speak in riddles and threats, often in the same breath. The Darrow are not ruled by ambition or faith. They are ruled by delusion, and in the Underdark, delusion can be just as deadly. Where the Driders are outcasts of Loth, the Choldriths are her chosen. Created by the spider goddess or by something older in her image, these grotesque priest creatures serve as the spiritual leaders of a race called the Chitine, spider-blooded humanoids spun from flesh and silk. Choldriths are part spider, part elf, with long, spindly limbs and a bulbous thorax. Their eyes gleam with the intelligence of a schemer and the devotion of a zealot. They spin no webs for food or shelter, their webs are temples. Unlike drow priestesses, Choldriths do not wield divine power for politics or war. They are ritualists, believers, true fanatics. Their sermons are whispered in clicks and hisses. Their spells twist reality, commanding darkness, venom, and fear. They often dwell in tangled caverns alongside Chitine colonies, hidden from the larger Underdark powers, yet their influence spreads far through webs of prophecy and infiltration. Choldriths revere Loth not just as a goddess of spiders, but as the cosmic weaver of fate. Every thread in their web is a path, every victim a sacrifice. To encounter a Choldrith is rare. To be marked by one is worse. Some claim they can spin your destiny into their web, dragging you toward a fate that only they can understand. In the quiet of a forgotten cavern, if you feel something watching from above, it may be time to run. Shadow demons are not creatures of flesh. They are hatred given shape. Souls of demons burned away by light, surviving only as smoke, claw, and whisper. In the Underdark, where sunlight never reaches, they thrive. These beings are incorporeal, nearly invisible in darkness, and immune to most physical harm. Their touch drains warmth and will. Their presence chills the soul. A shadow demon doesn't walk, it glides. It doesn't speak, it hisses directly into the mind. Many are summoned by drow priestesses or cultists of Loth, bound to service through blood rituals or ancient pacts. But not all remain loyal. Some escape, some wait, some slither through ruins and tunnels seeking minds to unravel. What makes shadow demons so dangerous is their patience. Unlike many fiends, they do not rage blindly. They stalk, they listen, they learn your fears and then feed on them. A single shadow demon can haunt a stronghold for weeks, sowing doubt, madness, and despair until its victims beg for the end. They are not powerful in brute force, but in confusion they are unmatched. When light fails and shadows deepen, when companions stop trusting each other, when courage falters, that is when the shadow demon strikes. In the Underdark, not all darkness is absence. Some of it is alive. Balhanaths are nightmares that grew teeth. Native to the Underdark, these grotesque aberrations are eyeless hulks, muscular, tentacled beasts that see not with sight, but with pure psychic instinct. They are ambushers, stalkers, and manipulators of space itself. What makes a Balhanath terrifying isn't just its size or strength, it's the way it bends reality. It can twist tunnels, warp perception, and teleport across the battlefield in flashes of maddening distortion. A doorway might lead back where you came. A shout for help might echo in the wrong direction. The map in your head is useless. Balhanaths are drawn to desire. They lurk near places of hope, shrines, hidden grottos, rumored exits from the deep, and manifest illusions tailored to lure prey. A missing companion, a shaft of daylight, a lover's voice. It all crumbles the moment you step too close. They serve no god, no faction. They exist to hunt. Some sages believe they are drawn to strong minds, heroes, villains, visionaries, feeding not just on flesh but will. And once a Balhanath marks a target, it does not forget. To survive an encounter with one is rare. To escape unchanged is rarer still. In the deep places of Faerûn, sometimes the dungeon twists behind you, not because you're lost, but because something wants you to be. At first glance, a roper is just a stalagmite, jagged, unmoving, half lost in shadow. That's the trap. When prey draws near, it uncoils. A roper is a living column of stone flesh with a tooth-lined maw and a crown of sinewy tendrils. These tentacles lash out with terrifying reach, grabbing victims from 30 feet away and dragging them towards its gaping mouth. Its grip is almost impossible to break. By the time a traveler realizes what's happening, they're already being reeled in. Ropers are solitary hunters. They don't roam. They wait, perfectly still, perfectly silent for days, weeks, months. Some nest near treasure caches or dungeon choke points, allowing the scent of rot and old coin to draw victims like moths to flame. Despite their monstrous form, ropers are intelligent. They understand Undercommon. Some even bargain, offering information or passage in exchange for meat. But their patience is thin and their hunger always growing. A deal with a roper often ends in betrayal or worse. They are resistant to magic, immune to charm, and terrifyingly strong. Many would-be adventurers mistake them for terrain until it's far too late. The Underdark has its predators, but few are as ancient, as cruel, or as deceptively still as the roper. Cloakers are nightmares that learn to fly. Resembling leathery black cloaks or manta-like wings, they lie coiled along ceilings or cavern walls, silent, folded, and waiting. When the moment is right, they drop. Their attack is sudden and suffocating. A cloaker envelops its victim completely, wrapping around the head and torso, drowning them in darkness, panic, and silence. Screams vanish, light disappears, steel meets only hide, and behind the suffocating folds, the cloaker's toothy maw begins to chew. But cloakers are more than ambush predators. They possess a strange alien intelligence. They can moan to invoke fear, create illusory duplicates of themselves, and manipulate sound in their environment, confusing groups, masking their movement, or luring prey deeper into danger. They're not social, but they're not mindless. Some live as guardians of deep tombs or serve more intelligent, aberrant masters. Others lair in isolated caverns where the acoustics let their eerie howls travel for miles. What unnerves most about cloakers is their intent. Unlike beasts, they study their prey. They toy with sound. They choose who lives and who dies. And once they've tasted someone, they remember. In the Underdark, the darkness above isn't always a ceiling. Sometimes it's watching you, waiting to fall. If you enjoyed this journey into the Underdark, consider subscribing and joining the Drow Historian Patreon. You'll help keep these lore projects going and unlock tons of additional content available only to patrons. Which Underdark creature is your favorite, and what Faerûnian lore should I cover next? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for more lore from the Legend of Drizzt.